I have to say, Miriam, I watched Sheldon sitting so proud in the White House when we gave Miriam the Presidential Medal of Freedom. That's the highest award you can get as a civilian. It's the equivalent of the Congressional Medal of Honor, but civilian version. It's actually much better because everyone gets the Congressional Medal of Honor. That's soldiers. They're either in very bad shape because they've been hit so many times by bullets, or they're dead. She gets it, and she's a healthy, beautiful woman.
What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here. And for Donald Trump to stand on a stage and say that the Medal of Honor is somehow inferior to the Medal of Freedom is beyond ignorant. This is a man who clearly doesn't understand what sacrifice means. But of course, why would he? Donald Trump has never sacrificed anything in his life unless you count missing a tea time. He's cheapened the Medal of Freedom by handing it out like a participation trophy to his billionaire buddies and campaign donors. Seriously, Miriam Adelson, what's her great contribution to America? Oh, that's right, writing big checks to Donald Trump's campaign. The Medal of Freedom was meant to honor those who've made significant contributions to our country. But under Trump, it's become nothing more than a shiny prop for his twisted agenda. It's all about profit with him, just like how he's been using our nation's secrets for his own gain. The man is a walking, talking clearance sale, and America's honor is what's on the discount rack.
Mr. President, one more question about the inauguration. Thank you very much.
Anything on Bill Barr, sir?
Congratulations, sir. He's gone.
And remember that time he walked out of the Medal of Freedom ceremony? Yeah, the big tough guy who loves to brag about being the best at everything couldn't even stick around to honor a wrestling legend. Dan Gable was left standing there looking like he just got pinned by Trump's rudeness. Maybe Trump had a shart emergency, or maybe he just couldn't stand the idea of not being the center of attention for 5 whole minutes. Either way, it was classic Trump, disrespectful and clueless.
This is a guy who loves our veterans and who honors our veterans. I don't think him complimenting and saying a nice word about a person who received the Presidential Medal of Freedom is in any way denigrating those who received military honors. They're two different awards, and I think the president was saying some nice things about a person that he liked, and that's a totally reasonable thing to do.
Unfortunately, it gets worse. J.D. Vance, who's supposed to be all about honoring veterans, actually doubled down on Trump's garbage. Can you imagine? Here's a guy who likes to pretend that he's got some moral high ground, defending a draft dodger who thinks veterans are suckers and losers.
You know what really bothers me about Tim Walz as a Marine who served his country in uniform? When the United States Marine Corps, when the United States of America asked me to go to Iraq to serve my country, I did it. I did what they asked me to do it, and I did it honorably, and I'm very proud of that service. When Tim Walz was asked by his country to go to Iraq, you know what he did? He dropped out of the Army and allowed his unit to go without him, a fact that he's been criticized for aggressively by a lot of the people that he served with. I think it's shameful to prepare your unit to go to Iraq, to make a promise that you're going to follow through, and then to drop out right before you actually have to go.
The hypocrisy is off the charts. Vance will trash Tim Walz's military service, but when it comes to kissing Trump's ring, he's all in. It's disgusting. These guys are supposed to be leaders, but all they're doing is proving how low they'll go to stay in Trump's good graces.
You mock one veteran, you're mocking all veterans. But this is a pattern, Dana. He's done this over and over again. Whether he went and calls military members suckers, whether he was at Arlington Cemetery saying what was in it for them, why would they do this? The problem with Trump is he's never been anywhere near a uniform. He apparently had some sort of foot reason that he says he couldn't do that. But the reality is the closest he's come to harm's way is a golf ball hitting him on a golf cart.
Even Nikki Haley, who's usually as predictable as a weather vane in a hurricane, couldn't keep quiet this time. She says, you mock one veteran, you're mocking all veterans, and she's right. But let's not forget, she's still out there rallying behind Trump when it suits her. One minute she's outraged, the next she's back in line, smiling and nodding like nothing happened. That's not leadership, folks. That's spineless enabling, plain and simple.
The attacks coming from Trump and Vance are simply a desperate political smear job, and they are in meltdown mode. They have been insulting women. They've been insulting the police. Now they're insulting veterans. Let's put the facts on the table. Tim Walz served honorably for 24 years. He deployed multiple times to disaster areas. He was 4 years past his retirement when he had to make a hard decision between running for Congress or deploying with his unit to Iraq. He decided he could do more good for veterans in Congress, and he did. As the top Democrat on the Veterans Affairs Committee, he helped expand and strengthen the GI Bill, and he helped expand access to mental health services. Contrast that with J.D. Vance and Donald Trump, who have attacked veterans and Gold Star families, and who are proposing in Project 2025 to restrict access to the PACT Act and to other important veteran services.
Let's not sugarcoat it as well. Trump is a 5-time draft dodger who couldn't even stand up to the news that there were bounties on American soldiers' heads. He's a weak, spineless coward who's never had to live paycheck to paycheck or wonder where his next meal was coming from. And that's why he hates wounded veterans and the poor, because they remind him that he's not the big, tough guy he pretends to be. To him, veterans are suckers and the poor are a drain on society. It's infuriating that so many people still buy into his garbage. And let's talk about those people for a second. Trump's cult followers. They're the same ones who want to dismantle the Department of Education because they're terrified of the woke education cartel and CRT. They're the ones who stay up at night shaking in their boots, afraid that someone might teach their kids to think for themselves. Trump loves the undereducated. Of course he does. The undereducated are easy to dupe. And if Trump gets elected and Project 2025 gets put in place, they'll dismantle more than just education. They'll take down the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of Justice as well. These MAGA morons are crying about open borders now, but what do they think is going to happen when Trump dismantles America and installs a dictatorship? The blueprint to create a shadow government is already in place, folks. A top Republican strategist was recently caught on undercover video admitting that Trump knows all about Project 2025 and supports it. This isn't some conspiracy theory. This is happening in plain sight. Now is not the time to get complacent. To defeat Project 2025, we must actively resist it. They want to eliminate religious liberty and make Christian nationalism the official religion. They want a mass deportation because they think it will save the country. Project 2025's authors don't believe in exceptions like rape or incest as valid reasons for an abortion. They've got a 180-day transition book that will change the face of our country and subvert our Constitution. They'll probably have to institute martial law to lock down America, and they'll do whatever they deem necessary to accomplish that goal, even if it means hurting or killing Americans who resist their fascist agenda. This rush of perceived power is what energizes Trump's undereducated supporters. They think Donny Boy is going to reward them for being jerks, but in reality, he's just using them for his own gain, and they're too stupid to see it. Unless you're giving him millions of dollars or kissing his ass like Rush Limbaugh did, he couldn't care less about you. And here's the thing that really gets me. There are still veterans who support this guy. What the hell are you thinking? Didn't you take an oath to uphold and defend the U.S. Constitution? And here you are wiping your ass with it by supporting a man who's done nothing but disrespect you and your service. Wake up. You're doing veterans a disservice by sticking your head in the sand, thinking Trump is going to do something for you. He hasn't done anything yet, and that's not going to change. Pull your head out of your ass before it's too late. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.